our regular council meeting so we can have a joint session with Commissioner Robert Peacock motion. I have a second, all in favor. Motion carried 6-0. We're now in joint session with the commissioners. Come forward, Mr. Tobias or whoever. Whoever it is, all three of you.
I'll see.
Come on, Bob.
How are we?
We're good. You?
Hanging in there. Hanging in there. Yeah. Hold up here.
Remember, you're on camera.
I'll move down from you some. I've got a mask if I need it. We come before you last year and we'll come again this year on the community crossing grant match money. And I know you guys have worked with us and passed, and I think we here in Scott County have been very fortunate, and I'm going to give a lot of credit to Jill. She has been able to obtain over $4 million in the last 5 years through this community match program. We've got what, 3 million, or $1 million 3 different times, I think, is that right?
Right close to it.
It's right close to $1 million 3 different times, and then we had 700 and some, I think, or something of that nature. But again, in this day and age, you know, and I'm gonna say this to you guys. First of all, we appreciate the joint effort and what you have done for us. You know, we don't get too many chances, I don't think, and lots of times in any kind of county government to do things right. And I think this is certainly something we've done right for the community. We've been able to blacktop over 150 miles of roads in the last 5 years. That's pretty well unheard of in any other county. So, you know, I think we're on a forward motion. We've still got a ways to go, but what, 311 miles of road here in Scott County, and we're past the 50% mark on our roads being all redone, and that's something that I think that we should all be proud of. But what I'm here to ask for is again, for next year, Jill, it's time to fill out the grant application, and we don't know where that's going to be at. But at this point, we're here to ask that if you would support the $333,333.33 that it would take to match if, in fact, we were able to obtain $1 million. And that's what we will shoot for, and hopefully we can. We just want to make sure that the money is going to be in place that we can get this. And again, when you look at that. $333,000 is we all know is a lot of money, but you're actually being able to blacktop roads for about 1/4 of what it should be costing you by obtaining that match. It's about what, 60,000, 64,000 miles?
73.
73 now.
But with your all's permission to get the paver, this grant will be the first time that we do it to do our own work. So you're going down to 48,000 to 50,000 a mile.
You can do that now, right?
Yes, you can do that. It's a little bit harder process, but you can do it.
No, I mean for purchasing.
It's legal, yes.
Yeah.
And that's, so hopefully that's going to allow us to get more done in the next few years here. But our biggest thing is to ask for $333,333.33 to match if we're able to obtain $1 million grant.
I want to explain something real quick too. I know that before we start asking questions, you guys have asked me to watch my money and try in the future to have the money. But unfortunately, and we will bring this up in just a minute after we get done, but unfortunately in 2018, the MVH, when we got a distribution, it all went into MVH revenue. And it was $1,824,608. Okay. In 2019, the government decided that anytime we got an MVH distribution, we had to divide it between MVH and restricted. So that's why at the end of last year's budget session, you all called me back in and were shocked that we had to do a decrease in my budget, but that's because the state said I had to take 50% of that over and move it on the roads. Where before, if all that 1.8 was in there, I could come to you all and just say, hey, can I have 400,000? Okay? And not only in 2019 did it decrease by almost 300,000, I had to divide it, okay? Now we go to 2020, and this is what Tammy will bring up in a minute. Now, our revenue, about 74% is based on fuel tax. With COVID-19, it has decreased by 47%. So,
But only for certain months though, has it?
correct, for the months, that's correct,
March
but
and
we're
April,
on a
May.
3-month delay. It takes 3 months for the money to get from the pumps to our hands. And right now, it's March and April, but we don't know what's gonna happen.
Right.
So even March and April, you're taking away another $125,000 to $150,000 revenue from the highway. So we are asking later, we have been instructed by all the county highways to ask, and Tammy has the paperwork, the governor and our local legislatures to stop the 50% rule during COVID-19. That way, it's not hurting our MVH budget, because I know we've said for years, I've been here 25 years, there's always been talk, you might lay off or blah, blah, blah. At the highway department this year, it's here. Teresa, I met with a couple weeks ago, and if I would spend my budget that the state said I could spend this year, what was approved by the state, at the end of the year, it's gonna be $94,000 short. And that's what they approved that I could spend. That was prior to this.
Prior to the 46%
Correct.
less.
So I've appreciated, I try to say it at every commissioners meeting, I've appreciated that you all have always matched. Everyone here, I know we went back and forth sometimes about it. I try to protect the highway department, because that's my baby kind, I feel like. But I wanted you to know that it's not that I'm not trying to save the money, because I am trying to be frugal. But I don't have a choice right now. There is no money to save. So I wanted you to know that that's why I'd asked them to come this time, for the support and to ask you all. It's because financially, I don't have it. I'm not gonna have it, not this time. And we start, the grant starts now. The closing date is July 30th. And I don't wanna do all the work if they don't have the money. There's no reason to.
So,
Well, the highway department is not the only entity that's gonna be
Correct,
hurting over this.
correct.
Because our county general budgets, there's 2.5 million that's based on payroll taxes coming in.
Correct.
Cover those.
Correct.
We have no idea what that's gonna do, because so many people's not working right now. So many people's drawing unemployment, but we don't get any of those taxes. All of our sheriff and jail budgets, part of 911, is coming out of public safety. Public safety tax is also payroll tax. So we have no idea what's gonna hit us in the future.
Right, and I can't speak on that, that's not my department. I
Right.
can only come tell you what's
so
gonna happen in
what
my
you
department.
can speak to, what are you gonna do if the shortfall continues for your employees?
I'm not gonna spend. Teresa and I have already put money aside to make sure that I'm acting like I don't even have it.
So, in other words, you can keep all your employees if you just cut down on your spending,
If I do
if
not
it
spend.
continues on like it is.
Correct. Hopefully.
If we do the grant and, the state doesn't do the $1 million or whatever it is, then we wouldn't be laying anything out. for the
Correct.
grant was denied.
It's always only based on, we ask for the full amount, but
Right.
every year, and I can show you, it's always only based on what they give me. 2016 was the first year they did it, of course, it was a million then, they decided. 2017, we asked for all of it, we only got 579, you guys gave us 154,000. The following year, we got 859, 143, you guys gave us 286. So it's always only based on the percentage we get.
And then for what you're gonna be paving this year, we gave you 234, right?
306,922.19.
306,922.
We got 927.60, in the end, we got 927.66.57.
Yeah, that's what I got too.
But total over the 4 years, we have given you 1.6 million basically. And then we gave you 400,000 out of the redevelopment to pave Boo Road. So that's a total of
What was the other?
400,000 for Boo Road. Take it out, it was spent out of redevelopment. Pave Boo Road.
When it got tore up when they was doing the factory up there.
You're talking about the TIF district?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Oh, that wasn't just Boo Road, that was several roads.
but what you're saying is.
Well, I mean, but TIF district is not, that wasn't me. That was Kelly
No,
Robbins
but it-
came to the TIF district board and asked for that money.
Right, but it was.
And they're
paving
loaded.
roads.
Yes, but they're loaded.
Yeah,
So, and what is we get, able to obtain, with this $1.6 million, through the years there on, from the, community crossing grant?
3.2 million,
yeah, right.
3,258 is what I've got.
58, okay.
It's a good investment, it's a great investment.
And the first year it was $1 million.
Yes.
And they've dropped that down to now,
What is it now,
Right.
3%?
it's, what, 25?
Third.
The
Third.
third, yeah, 33%.
Yeah,
So, I
First
mean,
year.
it's a lot of money, and we know what, like, right now, the things is, just like Ida said, we don't know, it's very uncertain, we understand that, we do. But I think, these opportunities, if they're still here, we don't know how long these opportunities are gonna be here either. I think they can dry up and blow away too, and again, we've been very fortunate to be able to do, like I say, 150 miles of road, for this community, and we know there's still a lot that's needed, you know, but, there never was the opportunity before this community crossing come available. And I'm afraid if they take that back, because on a normal year through the MBH funds there,
You're getting a mile.
we're getting about a mile,
each district,
each district, so you're getting about 3 miles of road.
right.
And, there's just no way that you can keep up with getting 3 miles of road a year and ever think you're ever gonna move forward in this county. So, you know, it's just our opinion that as long as it's here, and if there is a possibility of getting it, we just wanna make sure that we would have the match to be able to, put the time into it.
To be clear, the reason that we've been able to match all these 4 years, 5 years, is because we had the hospital reserve fund.
True.
Had we not had that,
And we always say that every commissioner
but I just
meeting as
want to be
well.
clear, but had we not had that, I don't know, we wouldn't have been able to have done
Correct.
near what we've done, with the exception of trying to find money other places.
Yeah.
And so, the hospital reserve, we're down to a couple million. You know, we just, I don't know how much longer we continue to do this. If we were to do it, it would put us about 2 million that we've taken out of hospital reserve to use for paving.
You have quite a bit of money in, Bridge.
That's gonna take up this bridge here on Main Street that you all approved. That'll be a probably $427,000 bridge.
Really? When's that gonna be done?
We've already paid out for the engineering, we've already paid out for the engineering. It'll be, you know, it'll be over 2 years, it'll be phased out, different phases. They're waiting to make sure there's no, endangered critters, because it could be an ant, a beetle, it could be anything, before they can tear ground. Yeah, it can be, yeah. So,
A lot of critters down that road over the years.
there any place you could find anybody to help us come up with about half of it or something? Like maybe 1 cent on your King Bridge or 2 cents, what you recommend? I know we increased that 3 cents to 5 cents.
Yeah, that's paying your, it's max,
It's
that's
maxed out.
paying your,
4499. And then it's also a cumulative fund, so whenever you take from that fund, or add to that fund, you take from general or some other fund that's involved with that. And it's already maxed, we can't get any more, I think we're maxed with the state allowance on that Cambridge fund.
I guess pretty much like we talked just about everybody that's been here today, it's just not a good time to, you know, talk about new positions, talk about this. It's just not a good time. We're just so many unknowns with our financial situation.
We got the main road in such bad shape. It's got so many potholes in it. And none such good progress. I look for this to be the last year of the community crossing grant, because everything's going on.
Yeah, I would too.
So I think it's our last opportunity to probably, to get that kind of money to make a difference in each of our districts to help. If you live out there, you got some more potholes like some of the roads I've been on.
Yeah, there's a couple of roads.
What bad shape?
District,
Yes.
Burn Road and that Botcher Railroad
Mm-hmm.
Street. I
Pretty
went
rough.
down that the other day from the fire department, and it's awful.
And, you know, and it's no different on our end as it is on your end, we understand this, you know, and we certainly, Burn Road is on the list that will get done this year.
Okay.
And that's already set in motion, so that will get done.
Yeah.
But, you know, there is roads out there that, undoubtedly we're like everybody else, when the funds are gone, we're done. And, you know, but what we try to do is what we're doing now, is to obtain funds for next year and be able to do that many more miles. We're doing about 30 miles in it a year. That's you know.
Do you have to bid any of it, or can you use it all yourself?
we can do either or.
No, I
But
mean,
it has-
if you get the million, can you use the whole million by paving with for you?
Yes.
You don't have to bid any of it to
No.
any other company or
No.
anything?
Actually, what you submit, you cannot alter. So the commissioners have chosen for us to do the work. After they accept that bid, or that grant, you can't alter.
And see, that's gonna actually gain you a lot,
Yeah.
and by having a paper that we can do that with now. And of course, they wouldn't allow you to do that before. This is something that's changed. And, so again, we're hoping to turn that 30 miles into, 40 miles a year anyway. And, if we can obtain it, so that, and Mike, I certainly know that it's not a good time right now. We all know that. The future, never seen anything like this in any of our lifetime. And we don't know what tomorrow brings. And, when you look at the state and federal officials, they have no clue either, I don't think. But the nature of the beast is if we are going to, apply for it, again, that takes a lot. And as I've said before, Jill has certainly saved us a lot of money, by doing that. Most places, I think the average is about $45,000 for an engineering firm of some sort to do that. So I don't want to put her to the process of doing all this and then us not be able to come up with a match either. And the way it looks, this is probably going to be in you guys' hands, because I don't think there's any way that we can find through the county highway budget anywhere the monies to match this.
Not that it matters, but this community crossing grant, is it based on, gas tax money also?
Their revenue permit?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it is.
I thought it was too. I'm, again,
I think if I'm not mistaken,
This
that
map,
the funding for this community crossing, monies, a lot of it come from when the governor initiated the 15 cent, a gallon, tax on gasoline, and then, 10 cent a gallon, tax on gasoline, and a $15 charge on every vehicle restoration. I think that's where that money's been generated from. And as we know, and it's kind of like Robert alluded to there a minute ago, this may indeed be the last year of this. And I'm certainly hope not. I think this has been a major grant for the state of Indiana, cities, towns, counties. But again, during this COVID-19, we all do know that the gas tax money, people are not driving as much, the gas is not being sold, so the revenues from that is got to be
Down also.
They got to be down a lot, and so
That's why I'm wondering if you would even know. Have they changed it?
I think this round is last year's money.
Guaranteed.
They base on.
Guaranteed.
And when will this be awarded?
Well, last year it was October 21st or something, they sent Tammy an email.
But is the paper, is that gonna be useless if we don't do this? Your new
No,
paper?
we'll still pave our own. We were paving our own roads anyway.
Okay.
With the restricted fund right now, I have to spend what
Yeah.
the state tells me.
So your restricted fund, has it been cut also
Yes,
because of what
Because
we've
of
been
fuel.
getting?
yes.
So you're wanting to us sign a letter to let you use it in MVH and not the restricted fund, so.
No, you can't allow that. I'm asking you to sign a letter to the governor and the legislatures.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes, requesting that they stop the 50/50 restriction only during COVID-19.
So if we were to do that and you were to use it all and we didn't do this, you would have no money to pay with.
But is the legislature meeting again before next January? I mean, they're not
I don't
gonna be
know,
able
but
to
they're getting,
pass any law.
I mean, she's got pamphlets and pamphlets from companies and, I mean, everybody's sending one. Whether they can stop it right now or not, it might push him into giving us another House bill that takes us back out of being in the hole. It's gonna he's gonna have to do something.
With everything going on, you got your grant cut in half from what we've been getting, so you got $500,000 instead of $333,000, it'd be $165,000.
Right,
And that's a possibility.
yeah, because you're
And
not
this-
guaranteed the million.
Don't get me wrong, guys, this is a very tough decision on my part. I'd be the first to say I'd hate to see $1 million worth of paving get away from us for only $333,000, only $333,000. But at the same time, this will be $2 million that we've taken out of hospital reserve. It's kinda like I've said before, is we gotta quit counting on hospital reserve. We gotta wean ourselves off that sooner or later. I'm not saying I am totally against your proposal, but I would probably go on record as saying if I'm fortunate enough to get reelected, probably the last time, if I were to vote this time for it, probably the last time I would ever vote to take hospital funds again. We just gotta, and I understand highway department, like the rest of us, not in a position where we can do any bargaining this year whatsoever. But under a normal year, it'd be awful nice to know that the highway department could come up with $150,000 of it. And maybe we could try budgeting, so, $300,000 or so to help do that. I hope the state would okay that. This year, we couldn't get anything. I intended to put $150,000 in rainy day fund, we just didn't have it. State cut us to nothing. It's a tough decision.
I
It
guarantee
really
it,
is.
I know it is, and, it is,
But just because you apply for $1 million, it's not something you're gonna get the million.
Correct.
It's up to the state, how
Correct.
much they allow, so
Correct.
they can allow.
Yeah,
and again, to make this clear, and I think for everybody to understand that, that's what Robert alluded to a while ago, is, again, if we're asking for the maximum, if they did give us the $1 million, then it would be $333,333.33. But again, we understand that if they give you, 600,000, then it's just gonna be a third of 600,000, it's not gonna be that full amount. But again, we have to like everybody else,
Shoot for the-
put,
yeah.
you've got to, you know, we're gonna hope for the best and get the million. That's our hope, I think, for Scott County, and we're gonna try for the million. And now it's gonna be left up to the state what they give us. But if it's not the million, then it will, certainly wouldn't be the full amount, it'll just be a third of whatever amount we get. Whether it's 200,000, whether it's 400 or 600 or a million, it don't make no difference. We're just asking that it would be, a third of it be available to us to get that much money.
Since there's a lot of bridges and culverts on these roads you're paving, can the Cume Bridge not obligate some money toward that?
But it usually pays for the bridges, and I'll give you an example. We're waiting right now to finish last year's community crossing on Liberty Knob, because just for the box culvert, not a bridge, it's just a hog shed is what we call it, was $48,000. That's not putting it in. So I can't rob Cume Bridge, because if 6 culverts are bad on Burn Road, then I have to pay for those culverts out of Cume Bridge in order to get the paving money. So that's why I try not to use it for roads, because that's where I have to use it to replace it.
But Cume Bridge can also pay for the paving over the bridges though.
Yeah, I mean, that's and we do that, so that's $3,900. I mean, that's not a lot of money in the big picture. And I wanna say, and this, you're not gonna like this, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Because, you know, I know that you guys wanna say you gave, but, you know, in a lot of counties, if there is revenue from a gambling casino, the highway department gets that revenue. Because obviously you're traveling on the highways to get to the casinos. You know, the council has had our boat revenue since it was established. And that's almost $65,000 a year. That's probably been going on for 20 years, 18, 20 years. So, you know, we fixed every sheriff's car and do not charge. I mean, we try to help out too. So, you know, I just want to say for the record, we give too. I know that's a lot of money out of hospital revenue, but we try to give too when we can.
You're right, Judy, man, everybody mad.
It's the truth, it's the truth. The council has taken and they pay sheriff's pension with it. That's what they paid the boat revenue with.
There's no rule that says we couldn't do that.
I understand that.
There's no rule that says it has to go to the
No,
highway
sir, there
department.
isn't. No, sir, there isn't.
There's no rule that says.
I'm well
Well,
aware
I
of
mean,
that.
there's no
I'm well
rule
aware
that
of that.
says this hospital reserve money has to go to the highway
I'm
department.
well aware of that, but there's no rule that I can't go ask the TIF to pay for roads or anything. My point is, when we say you give, we give too. And that's why I think when Bob started off saying that this has been one project that, I was gonna say y'all haven't really argued over, and you worked together on for the better of the whole county. Not just what helped the commissioner, not just what helped the council. This one project is what makes all of you all look good. And that's rare.
I agree with that. Well, I think the hospital reserve fund is, obviously it's a community fund from the hospital with taxpayers' dollars supported all those years. And this is the same thing, county roads, county infrastructure. I move to approve up to $333,033 for this property like that. I think we did last time. And I don't think we'll get the full amount anyway. We'd like to get $500,000 out to get anything.
But we have to base it on
Or-
the full amount.
Yeah,
Yeah. How much is in the hospital reserve?
it's right at 2 million.
Right at 2 million, that's not 2.4, and that's not obligated. Some of it is obligated.
Yeah, you just did 40,000 today for the public health nurse too.
And when would that come out? When would we,
Whenever they get
This,
when will we know?
If it would
You'll
be awarded in
know
October.
late October.
Yeah.
Late October?
So-
they have to know now, because when they go to do the bidding,
He has to sign a letter.
I have to sign a letter saying
That it's been obligated.
it's been off.
And let me, and because we have to know now, and that is the fact, that one thing, and you alluded to this a while ago, and I'm sure you would be when you have your budget hearings this fall, I'm sure that you would at least try to put that
We'll put
money in.
333,000 in again.
Hopefully you can get, you know, and hopefully that would, it wouldn't get cut out this time by the state. But we can't guarantee that either. But, you know, the one thing, and I will say this about what Jill just alluded to, the one thing about this is this has been a program that I think you guys and the commissioners has worked well together on, and it has reached every resident in this county.
Yeah.
And it's not, you know, and Jill has been very, I think, fair about how it's been done. I think, you know, all three districts is receiving equal, pretty equal amounts of money spent in each district. So it's not just one end of the county or whatever. It's being spread out through the whole county, and we all use these roads, and it's been a big benefit for everybody, I believe. And like I say, I know things is tough, but you know, it's just hard for me to imagine if we have the opportunity, because I do think, you know, this may be one of the last years that this may be available, and I think if we have the opportunity to find the money somewhere, I think we certainly should try to do that on this particular item, because I think it just benefits so many.
Like I said, I think the state may not even fund this period, so it may,
Yeah, and-
it may be a moot point.
Well, it may be.
But we can get it.
Right,
I think the taxpayers living out in the county, you know, they deserve a good road too. Like I say, they ever get to work.
Well, it's very visible, that's for sure.
Yes, and again, like I say, I think it's we don't have an opportunity to get things right too many times, but I just think this is an opportunity that we can get it right.
Well, I'd make a suggestion to whoever makes the motion, if Robert's already made it, that we also put $333,000 in rainy day at the same time we do this, if it comes about. I don't give up, Jim.
I know you don't, I'm proud of you, I don't either, buddy. We've got that common.
So the motion was up to 1/3?
Yeah, a third of the grant. That's why you said the point, sorry.
Okay.
So whatever we get, if we get any.
I'll second.
So what's the motion?
It's just,
He made the motion.
yeah, he made the motion.
Yeah.
If he wants that, he's gotta do his own motion.
I made motion to take up to $333,000 out of the hospital reserve to match the grant. And so it's a third, whatever the grant is.
Whatever the third is.
Right.
It's
There's a cap out of $333,000.
So what's
Right,
up
cap
to
out.
1/3 of the grant money that we received
Yes.
from the hospital reserve fund.
Just a question for me.
Mhm.
If we lay out 1 year, would they be a penalty?
No,
No.
So
there's no
next
doubt.
year it wouldn't make any difference?
No.
Okay,
Not that I'm aware of.
okay.
I'm just worried about all the unknowns for this
I know.
next year because of the pandemic. Goals might be at least more or less.
probably true.
Can I say this also? Just because you are awarded does not mean you have to accept.
Good, that's good.
So if we got awarded in late October and
Things that
God
go
forbid,
uphill.
you know, this, we get a second round of this or whatever, you can turn the grant down. You'd have to do it immediately, but you can turn the grant down.
That's good to know.
That is good,
Yeah.
That's good to
yeah,
know.
when you said that.
Would the commissioners be agreeable to that?
Turning the grant down?
Yeah.
And
I think, on my part, I'm gonna say that, again, it's like Ab said, there's a lot of unknown variables. And, if it's to a point where, the bottom drops back out of this, because, you know, today, I'm just to give you, for instance, Dr. Fauci's gonna, testify in front of, Congress there. And one of the things he's gonna talk about is that he's really concerned about the opening back up. He thinks that this could, generate, a lot of cases, and we may be right back where we're just coming out of. So if that's the case, I will say this, I'm open to anything, I really am. I think at that point, you know,
I mean, if it
you
came
can't
down
use it
to,
and you can't spend it, then yes, I wouldn't be opposed to it.
My recommendation would be to stop it, because if it gets that bad, I go back to, I'm not gonna have the money to pay employees, because of where our revenue comes from.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
We're
if
certainly
it comes
gonna
to
hope that
paving
don't
or
happen,
laying
but
off, you're
Right,
gonna have
again,
to.
to tell you that I
The paving,
lay off
Right.
people.
would,
instead of-
yeah, I would certainly be more in favor of doing something of that than have to lay off people or something of that nature. So yes, I would be probably in favor of it. And John and Mike, and they speak for themselves back there, but as just one commissioner,
And
I
it
would
is-
certainly look at that.
It is a what-if question,
Yes,
so,
Well,
yeah, I don't wanna lay nobody off either.
right.
I would just say,
No.
yeah, I'd be willing to consider that.
Well, like I say, we gotta make a decision now, we can't wait till we do our budgets and we know
Right.
where we're at. We'll have-
right,
Come budget time, we'll know where we're at.
right,
yeah.
But based on, like I said, I really do believe this will be the last year for the grant, and it's an opportunity for us to get a lot of extra dollars we wouldn't get otherwise. And I think this opportunity will be gone if we don't take advantage of this year.
But the commissioners are gonna make a commitment, if that was to ever happen, then I would be for it myself.
And like I say, I certainly wouldn't be opposed to
Mike's not
this.
saying anything.
Based on what you just said, I'm probably for
No, I think we'd be fools not to, take the opportunity to get the extra money, I mean, cause, you know, we've never had that opportunity in the past to get that kind of revenue for, you know, a third of what it's gonna cost you, so. I mean, I'd even be to the extent of, if the 300, if we get the max of the $333,333.33, we didn't have it, I'd even look at the possibility of even borrowing money to be up front to say, you know what, we got to pave these or use that opportunity to pave more roads, cause it's, you know, wells are gonna dry up, and, you know, we could have different people in different positions and make different decisions, so, I'd say we do it, if you got the money, if you don't, I would look at an option of even borrowing the money, and, if we had to go down that road, because I don't think you got a better investment than taking care of our roads, because, you know, you can turn on a road now and find fewer roads that are in bad shape than years ago, so that's my opinion, so. But like I said, I guess the end of that, if the world turns upside down, we for instance, get the grant, and our funds are upside down to the point where we're lucky to be breathing air, then we don't accept the grant, I mean, and you can go that way, so.
I'm just talking about if we have to let a lot of people go versus just money here. Okay.
Sure.
That's what I'm asking.
I think, and I will say this, and I'll say this about with John and Mike here too, and I think you guys, I think, we have certainly demonstrated that this county, Scott County is a unique place to me. I mean, it's amazing to look at Scott County and see, you know, just what I feel that people come together and for whatever cause. You know, you look at the Kids First, you look at the, you know, We Care options and the things that happen for a poor county and a smaller county. And I think that's what the Board of Commissioners and the council has done. I think our main goal is, in any situation, is to make sure that every citizen's needs are met here in this community. And that certainly entails the people that work for us, trying to keep them employed. But not only that, is citizens out here in the community, if they need it, we try to find a way to help them get it. So to say that we would not ever do that, I would never agree to do anything that would cause hardship on anybody in this community. based off the fact that, if we had to use that money to reach out to them and meet their needs, I would be more in favor of doing that, I'll tell you that.
One last shot at it, Robert, you won't add to your motion, put $333,000 in the rainy day fund?
No, cause we get that bad, we're gonna be taking out hospital, put a reserve and put it in there anyway.
Yeah. I just trying to be responsible councilman. I've seen where every county around here's got 10 times in the rainy day fund what we got, and
We basically got a rainy day fund with the 2 million.
no, not when you spend it like this. This will not come out of rainy day fund.
It didn't,
Yeah. Our accountant stood right here and told us we need $2 million in our rainy day fund. Tammy and I was already figured up we can pay payroll for 6 months with $2 million in our rainy day fund.
I think everything the way it used to be has been thrown out the window.
Yeah, that's right. Any more questions or discussion on the motion? All in favor? I'm gonna vote for it. You ain't gonna hang me out to dry.
Thank you all. Thank you all. And again, we certainly appreciate this, and it's, again, I think it's, the one thing that, we had a chance of getting right, and I think we just got it right again. I think it.
In the minutes, their commitment's in there, right?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes, and we will, like I say, if it gets to that point, it's more important to us, people's needs is met than it is, and don't get me wrong, roads is a need too, but I think we can get by on them if we had to use it somewhere else.
Now, you had some more business to take care of with us today, didn't you?
And it is the
Yeah.
letter of support for the highway funds legislation there. We want to, I think, ask for your guys to
Sure,
also
you got
join.
one drafted already, or?
Do
Do
you
you
have?
have the letter?
I don't have it right
Okay.
yet, but I'll get it and then I'll
Okay.
get, the board presidents will just
So we
sign it,
just-
I
yeah.
think that would be.
Okay,
so I
so,
definitely be in favor of that.
yeah, and,
Right.
if you guys give permission for Mike to sign it as the president and me, if that's all it takes, then we would like to get you guys' support on that too, because I think it needs to be.
Did you make that motion, Robert?
Yeah.
Okay,
Second.
I have a second. All in favor?
Now, did you guys find $1,000 for fence repair in your budget?
Do we have that?
Well, I haven't looked yet, and we haven't talked about it.
I thought it was 500.
Yeah.
Huh?
Not me.
No,
Okay.
I was looking at, I was trying
No,
to.
it was-
Sorry.
It was, I think we put in, after,
Five,
whether
up to 1,000.
500 or 1,000, John, do you remember? What was Cricket's quote on that? I don't either.
I thought it was somewhere around 5, but it could be 800 or so.
Yeah, I don't know if was you able to find it?
I have not had time
Okay.
to look through that.
Okay.
Before y'all get
I will
away,
go- I will look.
we definitely need to have a joint session and do nothing but talk about pandemic in the handbook and our salary ordinance, so on and so forth. What we
Okay.
wanna do.
Well,
If
I
it
think
happens
we need to
again,
do
or-
that this summer too,
We need to do it,
before the fall.
we need to do it
because it could hit
ASAP, I
again.
think.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, if you wanna look at that, this is what, Tuesday? I mean, as far as I'm concerned, we can look at this week, we can look at next week, whatever you wanna do, and again, we can, and we've said that before, and, you know, we was hoping, and I think we're still hoping, from the governor's, trying to follow his lead here, and how things is, they're trying to open things back up, but I do think it's gonna be important that we meet on
Oh, I
a pretty
agree.
regular basis, whether it's,
Yeah.
you know, and we may, and just to be honest, I'm not opposed to meeting every couple of weeks and just nothing about anything
Nothing.
but just the COVID side of it, because I think with the joint session, I think we're gonna have to,
Yeah.
and I agree with you, Mike, on that. I do that. So I'm in
And
favor, I mean, if you
I would-
guys,
I
and
would-
Mike and John's available, if you want to meet like towards the end of the week, Friday or something, we can do that, or we can.
Since you're not driving bus, then we can meet in the afternoon for it.
Oh, yeah, we can meet, I will make it
Make it
anytime,
easy.
yeah, at that point, yeah.
I think this will work out
Mike's
pretty good, the way we do
working.
it today.
Mike's working, he has to.
Well, yeah, Mike's, we have to, I
Be
guess,
late
he's the one that's working.
I'll tell you what,
I don't like to say I don't work, I just like to say I don't have a schedule, so, you know, I'm not saying that I don't work.
I'll make a time, so.
Okay, all right, so, yeah, whatever that we can do to,
you all meet.
work with you
meet
guys.
next Wednesday?
We meet next Wednesday, yeah. And, the 20th, is that next one? That's next
Oh, I'll be
one.
gone. I got a serious meeting I gotta go through.
So, but yeah, just, decide on you guys when you can and let us know and Tammy can certainly put that together, but I'm, I think it'd probably be Friday this week before I could, but, other than that, I think I'd be free next week too.
You guys are gonna talk about your building status on the 20th, so would you guys wanna come together after they talk about the building status
After
on the
next Wednesday,
20th
you mean?
meeting?
Building.
Cause you
After
guys
the
said you
20th
would review
meeting?
the governor and the opening and how we
Oh.
are in the health
Yeah.
department.
Yeah, that
You
probably
would
soon
discuss
Okay.
After the 20th,
after you
how
meet,
about
yeah.
that?
Okay,
Cause I know I can't meet on the 20th, I gotta go to First Sales for a serious meeting.
okay.
I'll get with you guys and try to pull something together after.
So,
We can, you can come back up, Friday after
Yeah.
we meet if you want that.
okay.
We'll set that up. So whatever good for you guys go too.
Well, I know it's bad timing, but, I know you done a couple of appraisals on a building over here. Where you guys stand on that?
They, and again, because of the timing, it's just kind of, we're sitting back to see what we could do and what we can't do. The appraisals come back on both of that, on that building, and they was pretty close, if I remember right, when they, I think, was it around 150,000?
Over here.
159.
160, I think.
160, yeah, around 160,000 for that building there. And, again, just looking at, all of our options to what we can do and see which way would be the best to go, but,
I haven't heard a whole lot from the judges. to
No,
the truth.
no.
They haven't, I mean, I know they want it done, but they really haven't pushed it.
And I think because of the COVID and then nobody's here in the building basically, in the judges' departments, and so it's just kinda got pushed to the back burner, to be honest with you, right at this point. You know, that's, and I don't know if that's if anybody, if us could do anything creative on any part of that either, if we decide to go that route. I don't know if there could be something creative done there to like a lease to purchase with a lease payment going towards the purchase price. If we just so chose to purchase it, I don't know that. Just be some things that I think we'd wanna look at before we got too involved in that level there. And again, just trying to, like everybody else, wait till the smoke clears, so to speak, on this COVID before we, decide anything. And I'm gonna take this just a minute right here and ask Andrew. Andrew, my understanding is that, and tell me if this is possible or not, but just real quick, the Memorial Day program that we normally do here, that they normally hold outside here for the veterans on Memorial Day, is there's a lot of concern about being together and whether they can do that or not. Is this something that we could do stream and they could watch it from home?
Absolutely.
Okay, okay. So we may want to get with the VA officers and we may want to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, like I say, there's just things that we're doing now that never dreamed that we'd have to do, but again, this young man right here has been a great help in being able for us to do this, and just a different time,
Different time.
The
All right,
VA
guys.
thing is May 25th, so
yeah. So
we're 2 weeks away, so they do have to know something pretty quick, so we can get it advertised. Let the public know if we're gonna to a virtual, how they can watch, might get more people watching if you would,
Oh, I'm sure.
Sure.
yeah.
So get with them and see if they, and explain to them what you can do and how we can do this, and, if that's the way they wanna go, then we'll get,
I'd say we can easily host it on our YouTube channel live.
okay.
Then we can just send out paper-wise or radio, hey, you know, tune in to YouTube at this time, and it'll be there.
Super, super.
Good job.
Never a question too hard for him, never.
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 Yeah.
Never
I wouldn't go
happened.
that far.
Never happened.
He's been tremendous.
Guys, thank you very much, and gals.
Thank you.
We certainly appreciate you, and again, it's a pleasure being able to work with you guys and, to achieve what I think is, some great things for this community. I really do. And I understand that, each and every one of you is concerned, but again, I think you certainly made the right choice here this morning.
But do keep on top of that hospital room for the coroner.
Yes, we'll do that, and,
Well,
Mike is working with the, hospital director out there, and
Scott Badge is supposed to get back with me,
So-
or actually it's Mark Badge.
Okay.
So-
Scott Badge.
so he's working on that, and hopefully we can get something there with it's gonna be feasible.
Yeah.
And, again, I don't know, you know, Mike did touch on that a while ago, you know, that this is the first time that, somebody that's not in the funeral business, so I think at that point, we're gonna have to look not only at a room and some of that things, but, I guess my question is, and I don't know if that was considered, but I would think they're gonna have to have some kind of vehicle.
EMS transports them.
EMS is gonna transport, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And actually, I know the funeral homes usually pay them a little something for doing that, so they don't have to get a car out or whatever, but since it's county owned ambulance service, I think we'd probably get a free pass there.
Okay. All right,
Thank y'all.
thank you, thank you.
Thank
We
you.
have a motion to adjourn.
Or you
No,
guys.
yeah, you stood up first.
Yeah, I'll put up
Oh,
for
wait.
John Wade second.
Hold
We're out of
on,
here.
hold
Okay.
on, hold on.
Okay.
You got that?
Oh, yeah, John was gonna.
We really liked this one, or some of us do.
With the
We,
flag.
when we went on the tour or whatever, that was some of the stuff that we saw on the walls behind, like the judges' chambers and stuff.
I'm gonna be very honest, on my opinion, and I looked at these, and this, I'm gonna go against you. This is one I chose, for myself, and the reason
Because
is,
we got flags.
because we have the flags, and I think, for me, the one I liked the best was this one, because I think, as I looked at them, it looks less cluttered as you look at it, and if we're gonna keep the flags in here, if you wasn't gonna keep the
But you
flags.
don't have to keep the flags, and when we were in the courtrooms, that was their flags. I mean,
Mhm.
they didn't have additional flags
Mhm.
in there.
That was one of the things that,
And we could maybe move the flags, maybe you could move them out the hallway or something.
but, I just felt like it did look better, that was my opinion, but, either one of them I can live with, I'm gonna be honest, either
Well,
one
it's
of
your
them.
guys' choice.
Yeah, and, so that's what we kinda said, look him over and decide what we wanna do as far as the, Wednesday, and,
So I guess he's the deciding vote.
No, I think they're both like the non-flag.
Oh,
that's the, one- this is, I mean, that was the one I liked better than, I thought it just looked
Express your
better.
opinion and,
You know, but yeah, your guys is, you know, everybody's, I mean, hey, it's your room too, you know, so I can live with either
doesn't
one
matter,
of
me
them.
too.
I can, you know.
Okay, we're gonna reconvene.
Yeah, as long as it looks good.
All right.
We're gonna reconvene the council meeting. We got two more items on the agenda.
got a cricket.